Hello, what is up everybody? It is me Jacob, and in today's video I am going to be talking about a very interesting topic for many of you who are just days away from writing your first exams at VU. I know there's a lot of you because I asked you guys on Instagram 2 days ago which video would you like to see from me first in a little poll, and you guys said that you would like to see a complete and full-on breakdown on how VU exams look like, things to be aware of, things to bring to the exam, things not to bring to the exam, and just some general tips on how to make the overall general exam experience at VU most enjoyable possible, I guess. So today let's jump right into it. Now I would like to jump into this topic first of all saying that there are many different kinds of exams at VU. Of course, you have different classes, you have different types of answers. Some exams do have an open type, like where you actually have to write answers. Most of the exams at VU are not that, so most exams at VU are either going to be multiple choice or single choice exams. Overwhelmingly, the biggest number of exams at VU is multiple choice questions, which again, I've talked about this before. It might sound ideal and really easy, and you just have to. No, it's not. Of course, they make it difficult. You can make a normal multiple choice exam extremely difficult if you don't know what you're doing. So yeah, just the fact that there are no open answers does not mean that an exam is easy, of course. So generally there are multiple types of classes and subjects. You have the so-called LVP classes, so LVP. Those are going to be the classes where you don't have to go to class, you don't have to physically be present while the teacher is teaching. You can just go ahead and go home and learn on your own time. And for those types of exams where you don't need to actually apply for the class and apply for a seat in the class, you will need to separately apply for the exam itself. So what that means is that around a week and a half, 10-ish days I'd say, before the actual exam week, the application will be open online, and you can go ahead and click it's just literally a click of the button. You just click Anmelden, and then you are applied for the exam. What that means is that VU guarantees you a place at the exam. So there cannot be a scenario in which you have applied but you have not got a place because there are too many people. That cannot happen. They make sure that everyone gets a place to write the exam. So if you apply for the exam, you will get a place. Now when it comes to classes, of course, it's not the same thing. There are classes that are literally impossible to get into. You really need to on the second press the button when the application opens, and it's really hard. But for exams, luckily we don't have that stress, and you can just go ahead and apply, and the application process or the application deadline is like 10 days long, so, or 2 weeks long, I'm not sure, but for sure plenty of time for you to go ahead and apply for the exam. Now what happens if you actually can go to the exam and you have applied? I'm going to cover that a bit later. Now for some subjects, when you apply for class and you apply, so for the teachings, you will automatically be applied also for the exam, which makes sense because you need to pass the exam to actually finish the whole class. So in such classes, you are automatically applied for the exam, and you will need to take the exam on that term to actually finish the class. In both cases, once you have applied, you're going to see the date and time of your exam on the Learn platform. So you can just go to the Learn platform and you're going to be able to see in which hall and which time you're going to be writing the exam. And yeah, you're good to go. You're applied, and it's time to learn and to show what you know. So now you have the time, the date, and the place. The next two things you need to worry about is, well, of course, studying for the exam, and the second one is getting there early. I usually come to an exam 10 to 15 minutes before, just to kind of relax, find a good seat, and because the stress of coming late to an exam is something that can really throw off your performance in the exam itself. So I don't like to do that. I like to come early and prepare that way, and that's what I recommend you do as well. So what to bring and not to bring to an exam. So first of all, a couple of things you must bring. You must bring some form of ID. Most people bring their student IDs if by some chance, you've lost it or something happened to it and you can't find it. It's no big deal. It's not like you're going to, miss out and you won't be able to write an exam. You just need to bring your state issued ID, so your regular ID card, or a passport or some sort of identification that can, prove with a photo that it is actually you who's writing the exam. Another thing you must bring is a pen. Now, I usually bring at least 2 pens because, pens die and you don't really want to be nagging your neighbor. Come on, man, just give me a pen so I can write. Yeah, it's not really practical, so I would for sure recommend that you just go ahead and bring plenty of pens to the exam. And yeah, that should help you out. Now, another thing that you usually must bring to an exam is a calculator. If it's a math subject or something with anything with numbers where you need to do some sort of calculations, you are going to need to bring a calculator. Now, beware that if you bring a wrong calculator, so too strong of a calculator per se, you will be banned from the exam. The exam will not count, or well, your results won't count, but it will count as an exam entry, and you will basically, lose an exam entry for no reason. So there are places where you can ask. Of course, you can ask on the subject forums and in the WhatsApp groups. You just ask people which calculators they're bringing, just to check, and just take a picture of your calculator and ask people if you can bring that one. There are people who know everything, and they're going to tell you if that's a good calculator to bring or not. Again, don't mess up. That is the stupidest way to lose an exam entry. So yeah. Now we go on to things that you can bring to an exam. Now, what you can bring is a water bottle. I recommend bringing a water bottle, of course, especially for exams that are 2 hours long. You are going to need to just have a sip of water every now and then. Now, another thing that I usually bring to an exam, especially if it's an early morning exam or later in the day when I'm kind of tired after lunch or whatever, is coffee. You can bring coffee. You can bring it in a thermal bottle. You can bring it in a to-go cup. So yeah, I've never seen anyone tell any teacher or tutor tell anyone to get rid of their coffee before an exam. So I assume it's allowed, and people usually drink coffee during the exam as well, so no reason not to bring coffee. Now, you've come to the exam and you've sat down, you've taken out your ID, the pens, the water, whatever you need to do, and you have put away all of your papers. Oh my god, the sun is really strong. You've put away the papers and your notes because the exam is going to start. What is the next step? Well, the teacher is going to hand you, or well, not necessarily the teacher, but possibly a tutor or just another student. They're going to hand you a group of papers that looks like this. So basically, this is my accounting exam, as I can see. It is quite long. Some exams are longer than others. Sometimes you get like a pile of papers. Sometimes you get like 5 papers. Again, depends on the length of the exam. Now, once they give you a paper like this first page is just going to be some general information about how to write the exam, what the timing is like, how many pages are there, just the basic stuff that I guess they have to put on the front of each exam. Also here you can see what is the proper way of marking your answers. And in exams where this is your first side, on the last side, what you're going to find is going to be a paper where you're going to mark your answers. So in all of these multiple choice and single choice exams, you're not actually going to be writing your full answers to anything. You are just going to be marking the right answers on the exam, on the final page of the exam. Now, as soon as you get your papers, you're going to take that page. This is not that page, this is something else, but I don't have it here with me. What you're going to do, you're going to rip it off, and you're going to sign your name and your surname here on like the top part. So it's going to first goes your surname and then your name and then your signature below that. Now, once you've signed that, you can go to the right side and you can enter your matrikelnummer. What's your matrikelnummer? It is basically your student ID number. It has 8 digits and starts with a 1. So the way you're going to enter it, it's really not that hard, and it's actually explained in this paper right here. So for each digit, you are going to enter into a grid. I mean, you're gonna get the hang of it. Now, in the first phase of exams, the step exams, there is always going to be a tutor or a teacher who is going to be willing to explain to everyone how it's actually marked, because they assume that it could be your first ever exam. So the only thing you have to do after you've marked your matriculnummer is to leave that leave that paper aside and start solving the exam. Now, while you're solving the exam, a teacher or a tutor, sometimes it's multiple people, sometimes it's only one person, are going to go around the hall and check the list that I have with all the people who are supposed to write that exam in that room on that time. So if you mess up and just go to another hall, for instance with your friend, because most exams are usually written in like multiple places at the same time, if you go somewhere with your friend and you're not on the list, your results will literally not count, and it will be marked as one failed exam entry. So don't do that, be careful and go to the right hall. And so once the teacher checks on a piece of paper on his list that you are actually supposed to be writing the exam there, he's just going to scribble like a little scribble or whatever in a colored pen on that answer on the the page where you're writing your answers. And that is it. That is them confirming that it's actually you. That is why you need to have the little ID on the table. They're probably going to glance, look at you and at your ID just to make sure that it's actually you, and you're good to go. Basically, after that, all you need to do is solve the exam, of course, and after you're done with that, you need to take all of your answers that you've probably circled and put them onto the answer sheet. Now, the answer sheet, you sometimes get two answer sheets in case you make a mistake or something, and then you can go ahead and transfer all the answers to the other answer sheet. I would not recommend you making any mistakes, because then the tutor has to come again and sign again, and you need to enter your matriculnummer again, and it's a whole other charade. So I would recommend that you're very careful with writing the answers down on the first answer sheet that you get. Now beware, if an exam is 1 hour long, that 1 hour includes you writing your name and your surname and writing your matriculnummer, as well as you transferring all of your answers to the answer sheet. So I have had a situation where I haven't transferred all of my answers to the answer sheet in time, and after the time is up, they're just going to say raise your sheet in the air, and that's the way for them to glance over the room and really quickly see if you haven't raised it up. They're going to you're going to look suspicious. So just make sure to have enough time to transfer all of your answers to the answer sheet so that you don't have problems later, because it would be stupid that because of 20 seconds literally you can fail an exam instead of getting an A just because you haven't had the time to just transfer all the answers. So budget your time wisely. That's what I'm trying to say. Now, because you're transferring all of your answers to this neat little answer sheet, which is actually scanned and not manually read, you are usually going to get your answers on the same day or the next day. For some exam and for some, depending on the institute. So if it's a law institute, it's in my experience, it lasts a bit longer than, for instance, math institutes, which publish the answers 2 hours after the exam. So depending on which exam you're writing, the results should come in a day or two. For the exams that do have the open part, where you actually have to write your answers down and someone actually has to read that, in that case, it can sometimes last up to 1 to 2 weeks, 3 weeks, depending again on the exam. It's usually more than 2 weeks though. So yeah. Now, what if you're sick on the day of the exam? Well, if you're sick on the day of the exam, you're going to have to go to a doctor and get a doctor's note and bring that to the study service center, I believe. And that's where the actual exam entry won't count and you won't lose one exam entry, which is quite important, because in the first step phase you have only 3 exam entries where you can fail, and then you have to pass the exam in the 4th one, and in the rest of your studies it is the first 4 that you can fail, and then you need to pass from the 5th one. So if you take a look at that, it's not really advisable to just lose one exam entry for no reason if you're sick. So yeah, go to the doctor and get a doctor's note, and that will be it. Now, what if I get caught cheating? Well, if you get caught cheating, yeah, it's not really good. You're going to lose that one exam entry. Of course, your results for that exam are going to be a fail, and you are going to need to wait for 2 exam weeks. So a long time to take that exam again. You're just losing precious time. You're forgetting everything that you've learned. So yeah, just don't cheat. That's the basic message behind here. Just don't cheat. Anyway, I guess these would be all the little technicalities about the exam itself. If you have any additional questions, please make sure to post them down below or on my Instagram. Ask me in the messages, direct messages. I answer to all of you. So again, good luck next week on your first exams. I'm writing an exam myself. So yeah, I'll probably see you around VU. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Like it and subscribe if you've enjoyed it. And I'll talk to you all next week. Peace.